Well, it was an extraordinary spectacle, wasn't it, Ben? There you had the president brandishing that rectangular tariff piece of cardboard in front of the world's press and cameras, as if offering the odds at a horse race. And the striking thing is that people in government here were absorbing that live on the television, just as people were around the world. There is a sombre tone from people I speak to in government here tonight, because their view is that any tariff is something they would rather not have. But they are relieved that the 10% tariff is at the lower end of expectations, both in terms of international comparison and, crucially, compared with how high they feared it might be. And actually, in just the last 30 seconds or so, we have had a statement from the Business Secretary, Jonathan Reynolds. It runs to several paragraphs. I'll bring you the thrust of it. It is the first time I'm seeing it as I read it to you. He says that we'll always act in the best interests of UK businesses and consumers. He points out that in the last few weeks there has been negotiations ongoing about a limited trade deal between the US and the UK, with the hope that that might bring these tariffs down or indeed eradicate them. He says we have a range of tools at our disposal. We will not hesitate to act. We will continue to engage with UK businesses, including on their assessment of the impact of further steps. Nobody wants a trade war, he says. Our intention remains to secure a deal, but nothing is off the table. The government will do everything necessary to defend the UK national interest. So they're attempting to maintain, Ben, a sober and, as they would see it, a proportionate response to what we're seeing from Washington, and a desire to keep negotiating this hoped for trade deal, but holding on to the potential to ratchet things up were that to prove necessary.
Step back. I think you have to give the context to this, which this is an extraordinary move, actually. Even if we may have expected larger numbers in some regards, hundreds of billions of dollars per year is what they say it should raise. 6 trillion over a decade was the figure that Donald Trump used. They confirmed the 25% car tariffs coming into force tonight, no exclusions for the UK. And at base, although we heard a lot about reciprocal tariffs, so, tit for tat, quid pro quo, based on what is done to America right now, at base, there's a 10% universal tariff for everybody. So it may be a relief that the UK is at that lower ebb, but that still means 6 billion on that. Maybe if you include the cars, 7 billion of extra costs. But the point of this, we hear, is to divert trade flows. I think we can see the document that was held up by President Trump there, and you see a whole sort of list, and in the blue there you see what America thinks is being done to it. And it isn't just the tariff, as Sarah was saying, it's currency manipulation and other trade barriers.